Afternoon, good evening mga ka-trades. Thanks for being here. My name is Rolly. And in today's market review, we will check Hong Kong, Australia, Philippines, and the US. So let's start with Hong Kong. Let me check that image. Okay, so Hong Kong ended the week with 27,878 and 22 Hong Kong dollars. They are up 329.70 points, and it's 1.20%. Based on this headline, Hong Kong Hang Seng gains 1.2% on Biden administration outlook. Okay. The Hong Kong Hang Seng Index finished up 1.2 Friday after President Trump overnight pledged a smooth transition to the incoming Biden administration. Also, the pathway appears clear to larger U.S. fiscal stimulus programs, with the Democratic Party in control of the Senate, following the party's win of 2 seats from the state of Georgia. So I think in the week's market, especially yesterday, Friday, most markets were up because of the stimulus news from the US. So in Hong Kong, let's try to review the chart if we can find a confirmation on the Hang Seng Index. So this is the daily chart for Hang Seng. Let me skip that. And indeed, it gained a momentum. So this seems like a breakout to me. Okay. So for next week, I think we can find a good continuation on the markets, especially in Hong Kong. So what you can do is review your Hong Kong stock list and see if based on your chart you can buy something. So let me try later today if we can scan Hong Kong stocks and prepare that to get in or to trade by next week. So that's the Hong Kong market. The next one is let's see first the Australia. So Australia, just like the Hong Kong, it is up 6,707.9 Australian dollars, or about 45.9 points and 0.68%. The headline is the Australian shares up on US stimulus. So you can see, guys, the heads or the headline is the same as Hong Kong, wherein it boost or the market was boosted due to the US stimulus hopes by the President-elect Joe Biden. And by that, let's see if we can review the chart on Australian index. Okay, so this is the daily chart. It looks good to me for same continuation. The uptrend is continuous, and I think this will continue because of the long signal that I can see here based on my confirmation. So we have that green dot there, and if you notice on the confirmation B, so let's try to make it larger. So this one is a good signal or a sign that the market may continue its uptrend. So that is for Australia. So let's see the next market that we need to review. I think the next one is for the PSE, or the Philippine Stock Exchange Index. So yesterday, the PSE ended 7,289.88, or about 170.27 points. That's equivalent to 2.39%. And based on the news that I have gathered, this is actually based on one website. You can visit my page for the complete um, news or article about the Philippine Stock Exchange ended. But all in all, this seems to me that is still connected on the boost on the US stimulus package. Okay. Let's try to find a good charting tool for the PSE. I think we do have, or I do have here a we can use Instagram, and let's see the chart. Okay, so by default, on Instagram, we do have a PSE index chart here, but it doesn't have my default indicator. So let's see if we can find one. So let's use this layout and change it with the PSE index. Okay, so I think I can explain this much better now. So as I can see it, it seems that it's on the point of a breakout. Oh, this is 4 hours, so let's change that on for a daily. So if you know, guys, I am trading the 4-hour time frame, so most of the charting tool I have was set for 4-hour time frame. So based on these indicators, I have same as my forex or global stocks. I am using the baseline here, and then some confirmations. Since Instagram is almost the same, or using the API, I think, from TradingView, most of the tools present in TradingView is the same, but when I check the tools or the indicators that I use or I configured, I can't find them in Instagram. So maybe they have limit on which or what indicator they may include in their platform. So going back to the chart of the PSE, I can see that the chart is looking good. I think it still has the momentum for its uptrend recovery, because we know that the pandemic during March made the global market, I think, plummet during this time. But the good news is most of the markets, including the Philippine Stock Exchange, started to recover. So as you can see in here, we have a good recovery since October, and this may continue until we encounter any headwinds along the way. So that would be for the Philippine Stock Exchange. I think the last one that we need to review is the S&P 500 index. So this is one of the most followed index when we talk about the US markets. So this is also the one I used in gauging the stocks that I am interested in. So first I check the index of a particular market and see the bias in there, and if I can see a good bias, then I'll go to individual stock, use my technical analysis or technical tool to see if those, or if I can find a good setup that may be a candidate for the next day or the next week's trading. So here, the S&P 500 index ended the week of 3,824.69 US dollar. So that's about 20.89 and 0.55%. And the headline for this image is the US stocks Wall Street ends higher in renewed rally on hopes of further stimulus. As I've said earlier, most of the markets ended last week boosted by the US stimulus, I think, by the coming days. So it's amazing how sensitive we are to the slightest tweaking of when and how big the stimulus will be, said Ed Moya, a senior market analyst at Owanda in New York. Stocks are going to start to price in a bigger economic relief package from the Biden administration, Moya said, that is going to continue the driver on equities. So we notice, or I notice as a new trader of global market, and then during this time of the pandemic, most government gives stimulus to their citizens, especially the US, and it somehow drives the market up higher. If you can check, if you check the chart for the SPX, from March, where the dip happened during the pandemic, I think this is the time where global governments announced their lockdowns. So that's why the markets of most governments or most countries plummeted the same as this one, and then it continued climbing up again. And let's see if let's put a horizontal line here. So as you can see, it already recovered. The market already recovered, and during this time, I believe these are the time that we discovered, or Pfizer announced their vaccine. So they have, or the market recovered already, and in fact the S&P 500 is in its all-time high as of yesterday, close of the market. So I believe for next week trading session, most of the markets will continue to go higher because of the incoming stimulus. But if you're trading different countries, the best thing that you can still do is look on the index that that most of your watch list of that market, and check if those stocks aligns with your technical tools. If your technical tool says buys, then it's a good one. But if the stock doesn't show any significance to buy or sell, then you should wait. I think that's the best approach. And then next is, once you have those lists of the possible buying or selling stocks, then you would calculate the needed risk, so that by the opening market, or you can do a post market or a pre-order. I think you can do that most on your brokers. I believe we can do that as well in Owan. I am using Owanda, or no, I'm using eToro for most of the markets, and markets.com for my ETF, and Australian stocks. So I think that covers for our world indices review. We reviewed Hong Kong, Australia, the Philippines, and the US. So hopefully it will guide on your selection of the stocks that will make you or that will give you profit by next week. So thanks for listening, and I'll see you on the next recording.